Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to MTA's Full Throttle event. 32 of your favorite monster trucks are set to do battle. Who's going to walk away from this event as the Full Throttle Champion? We are getting set to go to round one racing up next. Well, here we are, round number one at the Full Throttle event. We are getting set to kick off racing. Michigan Ice Monster set to take on the Dodge and Backdraft. A classic matchup of Chevrolet taking on Dodge. Getting set now to go green. Who's moving on to round number two? Michigan Ice Monster and Backdraft up and over the cars, and Backdraft takes it down to the shutdown area. The Dodge camp moves on. Up next here in round number one, we've got the Dodge and Barefoot out of Pontoon Beach, Illinois. He draws up against the Ford and Stone Crusher out of Virginia Beach, Virginia. Ford and Dodge now down the straight stretch, up and over. Barefoot with a slight lead. He gets it down to the shutdown area first. Barefoot moves on. Up next now, Jester set to take on Carolina Crusher in that Chevrolet out of Wadesboro, North Carolina. Both trucks staged, ready to go. Here we go now as we get set to go green. Jester with a slight lead up and over, and hard roll for Carolina Crusher. You see it right here in the first jump. The truck just nosed over real hard. A bad day at the office for the Carolina Crusher team. The MTA track crew is down here now. They're going to flip the Carolina Crusher back over. Hopefully they didn't hurt that truck too bad. And as you can see, the left front tire ripped off. That whole knuckle assembly is gone. Carolina Crusher's going home empty-handed in round number one. They've got it on the back of a wrecker now. They're towing Carolina Crusher off the track. They're going to try and get him back together enough to throw him on the trailer. He will be back next week for Thursday Night Thunder, but that's a tough break for the Carolina Crusher team. Well, coming up next here in round number one, we're going to see Mohawk Warrior get set to take on the Titan Chevrolet. Both trucks are at the starting line now. They are staged and ready to go. Rich Wagner and the Titan Chevrolet, they're drawing up against the Mohawk Warrior Zombie Edition. Here we go now as we get set to go green. Slight lead to the Chevrolet up and over the cars, and they are dead even down there in the shutdown area. We're going to get a better look right here. MTA official view going down here now. And the Titan Chevrolet moves on to round number two. Next up here in round number one, out of the Barefoot Dodge camp is their brand new truck, Rampage. They draw up against the Wildfoot Ford out of Pacific, Missouri. This lineup here reminds you of the Pin to Point series. It's like Andy Brass taking on Ken Deppy. Ford and Dodge as we get set to go green. They're dead even up and over the cars, and the Wildfoot Ford takes it to the wall, putting that brand new Dodge Rampage on the trailer. Well, up next here at Full Throttle, Gravedigger the Legend in the blue and gray Ford panel van. They draw up against the Built Ford Tough Blue Thunder. Both trucks stage as we go green. Down the straight, Legend with a slight lead up and over the cars, and what a save by Blue Thunder. Blue Thunder went by him right there to the shutdown. Look at this replay. Rides it out on two wheels into the wall. Blue Thunder moves on. Well, up next, Bulldozer set to take on Hot Wheels. Both these trucks look great in qualifying. We don't know who's going on to round number two, but I know this should be a good race. Both trucks now, Bulldozer with a slight lead up and over the cars, and Bulldozer gets to the shutdown area. Hot Wheels gives him a little love tap. Bulldozer moves on. Medusa now set to take on the Black Stallion Ford out of Hagerstown, Maryland. Two Fords set to do battle down the straight stretch here at Full Throttle. Here we go now as we go green. Down the straight, huge lead to Black Stallion up and over the cars. Roll over by Medusa on the big end. Stallion takes it to the wall. The MTA officials down here now going to roll Medusa back over. Black Stallion wasn't cutting her any slack. He put it on kill and took it to the wall. Up next here in round number one, Gunslinger out of Bushnell, Florida, set to take on Extreme Overkill. Two Fords ready to do battle here at Full Throttle. Who's going on to round number two as we go green? Down the straight, they're pretty even. Up and over the cars, a big lead by Overkill, and he's turned it over on the big end. We're going to get an MTA official down here to declare a winner, and it looks like Overkill's got him by a tire. They move on. Now, Zombies set to take on the Monster Mutant. Both these trucks ran great in qualifying, put on some bad fast passes. Who's moving on to round number two as we go green? Down the straight, they're even up and over the cars, and Monster gets it down to the shutdown area. But we may have to get an MTA official. We don't know. No, you can see it right there. Monster moves on. Now, Max D, a four-time Thursday Night Thunder champion, set to take on the 41 Willies and Blacksmith. Down the straight they go, up and over the cars, and they get into each other right there in no man's land, and Max D is touching the wall. Max D moves on to round number two. Well, up next, Son of a Digger draws up against the beautiful Chillin' Villain Machine. Both trucks are staged up here at Full Throttle. They are set and ready to go. One of these guys is moving on to round number two as we get set to go green. Down the straight, they're pretty even, up and over their first jump, and Son of a Digger loses it into the wall. Chillin' Villain moves on. Next up, the Eradicator Chevrolet. draws up the 1950 Chevy panel van and Gravedigger. Who's going on in round number 2? Eradicator, Gravedigger as they get set to go green. Both trucks with a great start, up and over the cars, and Eradicator loses the body. Something happened to Gravedigger, but look at Eradicator in that far lane, losing the body. Well now, Virginia Giant out of Winchester, Virginia. They draw up against the Avenger Chevrolet. It's that classic matchup, you Chevy guys taking on you Ford guys. Who's going on to round number 2 as we go green? They're looking pretty even, up and over the first jump, and the Avenger Chevrolet gets it down to the shutdown area. They move on to round 2. Well, up next here in round number 1, the brand new Samson Chevrolet is making its debut here at Full Throttle. They're set to take on the Prowler machine. Both trucks staged, ready to go. There's the green light, they're down the straight stretch, up and over the first jump, and Prowler turns it over. We might have to get an MTA official. We're going to look right here. No, Prowler's got the win. They move on. Well, now to close out round number 1, UFO in the near lane draws up against the Bigfoot Ford in the far lane. Two Fords set to do battle to close out round number 1. There's the green light. Strong lead to UFO up and over the cars. Both trucks getting into the shutdown area, and UFO has the lead right there. They move on. Well, before we get to round number 2, we're taking you down to the pit area at this Full Throttle event. There you see some of the trucks getting staged up. Other trucks are packing it up and they're going home. Samson loaded up on the trailer. The Carolina Crusher team back there trying to fix that truck so they can get their stuff loaded up and go back to North Carolina. Stone Crusher, they're going back to Virginia Beach, and the Gravedigger team is tired down. They're going to pack it up and head on home. We still got some racing to do right here in round number 2. Up first here in round number 2, we've got 2 Dodges set to do battle here at Full Throttle. The Backdraft Dodge takes on the Barefoot Dodge as they go green. Barefoot with a slight lead up and over the cars, and they get into each other in no man's land, and it looks like Barefoot's edged him out. Barefoot moves on. Up next, the Titan Chevrolet, set to take on the Jestalade in Jester. Both trucks now down the straight, up and over the cars, and Jester turns it over. The Titan Chevrolet moves on to round number 3. Up next here in round number 2, Built Ford Tough Blue Thunder draws up against Wildfoot. Down the straight they go. Wildfoot pulled on him, but Blue Thunder goes on him in the big end. Blue Thunder moves on. Up next, the Bulldozer set to take on the Blackstein Ford. There's the green light. They're down the straight stretch, up and over. Some sick air by Blackstein. He's turned it over on the big end. Bulldozer moves on. Up next, Overkill set to take on the Monster Mutant. Down the straight they go, slightly to Overkill, and Overkill's turned it over. Monster Mutant moves on. Next up, we've got Max D out of Paxton, Illinois. Draws up against Chillin' Villain. Up and over the cars. Hard roll for Chillin' Villain. Max D edged him out. They move on. Look at the replay right here. How hard Chillin' Villain nosed over. Turns it over right there in no man's land. Next up now, the Avenger Chevrolet draws up against Eradicator. They've pulled the body off Eradicator. There you see it down the straight, up and over the cars. Eradicator gets it to the shutdown area, touching the wall. Eradicator will move on. Next up here in round number 2, closing it out, UFO draws against the Prowler machine. Down the straight they go, slightly to Prowler, up and over the cars, and both trucks get it down to the shutdown area. And we're going to get an MTA official down here to confirm a winner. And UFO's got the win. They move on to round number 3. Well, there you see the bracket for round number 3. We started with 32 trucks. We are now down to 8. These guys are set to rip it up here in round number 3. First up, we've got the Titan Chevrolet drawn up against the Dodge in Barefoot. Chevy and Dodge about to throw it down here at Full Throttle as we get set to go green. Both trucks are looking even. Barefoot had a slight lead but gets crossed up, and Titan moves on to the semifinals. Up next here in round number 3, Bulldozer set to take on Blue Thunder. There's the green light, slight lead to Blue Thunder, up and over the cars, and they get into each other on the big end. But Blue Thunder's got the win. They're moving on. Max D now set to take on the Monster Mutant, who's going on to the semifinals as we go green. Down the straight, they're pretty even, up and over the cars, and Max D takes it to the wall in the shutdown area. Max D moves on to the semifinals. We're closing out round number 3. UFO draws up Eradicator. Eradicator still with no body on the truck. UFO wants to get another win here tonight at the Full Throttle event. There they go now down the straight. They're dead even, up and over the cars, and UFO takes it to the wall. Eradicator loses it. Well, that concludes round number 3. There you see your brackets for the semifinals. We are down to 4 trucks, but we're going to take you down to the pits. All 4 teams are down there thrashing, dialing in their trucks, hoping it makes a difference in this semifinal matchup. Blue Thunder, Max D, Titan, and UFO all set to throw it down in the semifinal matchup at Full Throttle. Our first matchup is Ford versus Chevrolet. Titan taking on Blue Thunder. Both trucks staged. There's the green light now. Both trucks are even up and over the cars. Both of them nosed over hard. And the Titan Chevrolet and Rich Wagner take it to the finals. Now UFO draws up against Max D. Who's moving on to meet the Titan Chevrolet in the finals? There's the green light down the straight, up and over the cars. And UFO takes it to the finals here at Full Throttle. It is final time here at Full Throttle. UFO and James Valencourt, they won the Redemption Show just a couple of months ago. He says, nah, Steve, you keep that UFO truck. I want to run it in future events. And what a good call he had, because there he is in UFO at the final round again in the Full Throttle event. But Rich Wagner, no slouch though. He won the first ever episode of Thursday Night Thunder in the American Guardian Chevrolet and also took the Thunder Chicken to victory lane at the Independent Showdown. Two seasoned veterans about to kick it off. Ford and Chevrolet, UFO and Titan, it's showtime. Down the straight stretch they go, up and over the cars, they get into each other, and UFO outruns the Titan Chevrolet. Both trucks gave it their all, but UFO comes out on top. Congratulations to James Valencourt and UFO for winning Full Throttle.
Standing tall up in victory lane, I done brought the pain and now they screaming my name. Yeah, everybody saw me rock the place. Now there's flashbulbs are popping and mics in my face. Always giving the crowd what they need. Now they're wearing my shirts front row to nosebleed. Now the crowd forms is what it's all about. Signing autographs until the lights out. Yeah.
Thank you guys for watching Full Throttle. We hope you enjoyed the show. Be sure to check out our other videos linked right here on our channel. Leave this video with a like and subscribe to us, and I'll catch you down the road. See you next time.